So, I played Pokemon Unite and I'd like to tell you all about my experience with this game. First off, if you don't know what Pokemon Unite is, well, it's a brand new game that was released on July 21st for the Nintendo Switch that's actually completely free to play, and heck, it will even come out for mobile devices later this year. Pokemon Unite is a MOBA, or a multiplayer online battle arena. Think League of Legends, but full of Pokemons. This game teams you up with 4 other players, pitting you against the other team in 10 minutes long matches where you'll need to be the team that has the most points at the end. To make those points, you'll first have to defeat some wild Pokemon scattered all over the map to collect the points and to level up your Pokemon. And once you get an opportunity to get to one of the enemy's goal circles, you'll then have to slam dunk your points and score for your team. Obviously, this is a simple way of describing Pokemon Unite, because as you can probably figure out, it's a little bit more complicated than that. At the time of me making this video, there's a roster of 20 playable Pokemon, with more being planned to be added in future updates. And those Pokemon are split into different categories. There's the attackers, Pokemon that have low endurance and that are heavy damage dealers. The speedsters, who have super fast mobility and attack speed. The all-rounders, which are the most balanced type Pokemon. The defenders, so Pokemon that have a lot of health points and defense. And the supporters, or Pokemon that can heal allies or inflict status conditions on the enemies. To achieve victory, you'll typically have to balance your team in order to win the team fights and end up with the most points at the end. Speaking of, defeating the enemy team is not the most important part of a Pokemon Unite match. Of course, defeating those enemies gives you points and puts them out of the match for a couple of seconds, but playing smart is actually more important than getting a big KD ratio. The goal is to score some points, remember? So attacking the wild Pokemon is actually more important than fighting the other team for the most part of the match. There's also some Pokemon that are stronger and more difficult to defeat, but they also provide you or your team with a buff that can help you out quite a lot. Finding a way to defeat those Pokemon while fighting other and defending your goal is not that easy to do all at once, but very worth it. And when there's 2 minutes remaining on the clock, the legendary Pokemon Zapdos will also appear, and defeating this dude will give your team a huge advantage. All of the enemy's goals will be defenseless for 30 seconds, and all of the team members get 20 more points. Oh, and during the last 2 minutes, all points are also doubled. This is kind of overpowered in my opinion, but hey, I'm not the one working for the Pokemon company, am I? In true Pokemon fashion, they evolve. So if you decide to pick, let's say, Charizard, well, you'll start the match as Charmander, and you'll slowly evolve to Charmeleon and then Charizard as you play the game, level up, and defeat some enemies. This is actually pretty cool to start off with the least evolved state of a Pokemon and see it evolve throughout the match. Leveling up is accomplished by defeating Pokemons and scoring points in the enemy's goals, and it also comes with the ability to choose new attack moves. After every couple levels, you'll get to pick between 2 different moves, and these can also be upgraded if you keep leveling up. This means that 2 of the same Pokemon may not face off with the same exact set of moves, which leads to really amazing battles. Oh, every single Pokemon has a Unite move, which is their ultimate attack. The cooldown on these attacks is absurdly long though, so make sure to use them only when necessary, because they can mean everything during a team fight. They also look super stylish, so there's that. Of course, some moves are slightly more powerful than others, and combining certain moves together will lead to a very powerful Pokemon, and just like every game ever, if you search online, you'll find some really amazing builds that players have tested and that have been proven to be more effective. Some of the Pokemon are also pretty overpowered right now, and you'll know they'll get a nerf real quick. As every match is 10 minutes long, you'll get to try out many Pokemon and their move, and that will eventually lead up to you liking 1 or 2 Pokemon more than the others. And that's good, because a team cannot have 2 of the same Pokemon. So when starting a match, you'll often see players fight over certain Pokemon, which can be frustrating, but you know what, that's part of the game. Each Pokemon can have held items that can increase their health points, attack, defense, and give them a couple more abilities. You'll unlock those held items as you play matches, and you can upgrade those to make them more powerful. Trainers can also hold down one battle item that's mapped to the Y button and that can be used at any point during the match. These battle items can heal your Pokemon, give them a boost in attack speed, give them more defense, or make them teleport in a direction, and way more effects. You can also play different types of matches in Pokemon Unite. What we've been talking about so far are normal matches, but you can also play the ranked mode, which will track your victories and defeats and will also allow you to climb the ladder to become the very best like no one ever was. I gotta admit that ranked is very stressful to play, but it's also very fun. But if you want to relax, there's also a quick 5 minutes mode where you play on different maps with different objectives, and they're usually way less stressful and just plain easy fun. Losing in those quick matches isn't a big deal, and winning ain't either. So I mentioned at the very start that this game is free to play, which also means it comes with a lot of different mechanics meant to get you to actually spend money in-game. Because yes, you can actually pay some big bucks to unlock stuff in Pokemon Unite. This game allows you to buy holoware for your Pokemon, which is basically just a different word for costumes. Look at that Machamp, very boring and cringe, am I right? Well, for the low price of $10 American, your Machamp can actually look like this. Wow! All jokes aside, I have no problem against people who like buying cosmetic items for their trainer or Pokemon, and I feel like it's a good way to monetize a free-to-play game. You can also pay to get a battle pass, you know, kinda like Fortnite, which will give you additional items as you play because you paid the premium price. That's also not that much of an issue for me. My main problem is that you can use real money to buy some item enhancers, which then can be used to boost your held items. Remember how I told you some items give you more HP, attack, defense, etc.? Well, these items can be upgraded to give you a way bigger boost, and basically, if you want to max out those more quickly than your average Joe, well, you can spend a crap ton of money to do so. This will obviously not mean you'll win every single match, as Pokemon Unite is a team-based game, but it might give you a huge advantage in the long run if more and more people decide to spend money to basically get stronger quicker. Now, in all honesty, as broken as this mechanic could become, I do have to say that I have personally spent a total of $0 in this game so far, and I still kick ass and get a bunch of victories. So don't be scared that this might change anytime soon, especially considering how high the prices of those things are. $140 for gems? Who do you think I am, Jeffrey Bezos? Being an online multiplayer game, Pokemon Unite will require you to be connected online to play, duh, but it won't require you to be subscribed to the infamous Nintendo Switch Online subscription, so that's a big plus in my book. Also, I have experienced very little connection issues or problems, and matchmaking usually takes less than 10 seconds to get you into a match. Although I have to admit that there seems to always be one player that doesn't press start right away. Come on dude, we're waiting on you! You can also add your friends directly from your Switch friend list, or you can add them with a simple trainer ID code. And once that is done, start a match, push the invite button, and bada beam bada boom, your friends are playing with you. This is one of the most, this is the most satisfying online experience I've had with a Nintendo console, and that is really great. If every titles could be like that, Nintendo would finally make online right. So, in conclusion, I played Pokemon Unite, and you should too. It's free, it's fun, it's an easy game to understand, but it's a very tough one to master, meaning you're in for hours upon hours of enjoyable playtime. Thanks a lot for watching this video, I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, well, make sure to subscribe and hit like and do all that fun stuff. And if you'd like to see more of those review/impression types of videos on the channel, well, let me know in the comment section down below. I really enjoy doing that one, and I kinda wanna do more, even if you don't like them that much. So please like them, please. Alright, bye!